for me, the most frustrating thing about making a movie is because I'm originally stage trained, even though I could never get a job on the stage. I tried out a lot for a lot of years, but the classes I went to were in New York and was for the stage. And that is that, as actors will tell you, if they're doing a play, you say, oh, you're in a play, great, I'll come see you. They'll say, wait 3 weeks, because it takes 3 weeks for them to find the character to be comfortable. If you do that in a movie, the director comes up to you in the 3rd week and he says, what are you doing? You say, well, I found the character. But it doesn't match the first 3 weeks we've just done. Go back and be a piece of shit, because that's what we've got on film. And finding the emotion sometimes is not the hardest part. It's matching the emotion. Again, to say, I think some of these things maybe are attributed to Brando, but I have such a collection of them because he was our god when we were first studying. Brando says, don't pick anything that you can't do 30 times honestly. I feel that the essence of acting should be effortless. Whoever pays for a movie to be done, whether it's a studio or independent financer, they're hiring at a certain point the principal crew, the cinematographer, the sound man, the set decorator, the production designer, etc. And once they go on salary, the people that are putting the money up for those people would like them to be shooting. What they don't understand is that if you were in on a sound stage, just rehearsing for 2 weeks, letting the cinematographer walk around with the director, getting a sense of how to shoot the scenes before you started shooting, and also the sound men knowing what kind of sound they want to have, you can make a better movie. That's what we did in The Graduate, because Mike Nichols was so powerful at that moment in his life. That was what we call just actors and walls, basically a small film, and he shot 100 days, which was about twice the amount that you would shoot that kind of format today. And that was because we had 4 weeks of rehearsal. We were on a sound stage. He had one of the great cinematographers, Bob Surtees. He had great sound guy, Jack Solomon. He had Sam Osteen, great editor. These were the top people of the time, and they were there with us rehearsing. And that's what doesn't happen today. It happens in plays, but it doesn't happen on film. It's too costly. When they say, who are your favorite, it's usually performances. Hopkins' work in Silence of the Lambs is a painting. That's a painting. In Mr. Turner, Timothy Spall, that's a painting. I mean, it's going beyond just acting. It's like you're carving something. I mentioned De Niro. I watched the first thing I was in with Bob, because Bob has done work which is so brilliant. It is to me. It's like Mount Rushmore. I mean, the work in particular in Raging Bull. I walked out afterwards. I just started crying. And my wife said, "Why are you crying? It's not that moving an ending. I mean, you had all that weight and everything." I said, "I'm crying at the work. The work. It was a painting, and his desire to do good work, and his focus. I mean, even if he does lesser work, my admiration for him as an artist is one which I just think he's a giant, as I felt about Brando. I was going to say, what I learned from Bob is we're doing this thing, Sleepers, and he's behind he's a witness, and I'm questioning him, and he's got 3x5 cards, and he's got his lines there. And it depends, because there's a truth to not knowing your lines that well, so that when you're thinking of your lines, but it's the same as the thinking of the character, because that's what we do in life. We're thinking of our lines that we're going to say, in a sense, or the thought itself at least. And we're doing takes, and I was aware of something that he did, because my training, I used to always blame it on the fact that I was so-called theater trained. And that means you rehearse, and then at a certain moment, 3-4 weeks, the curtain is open, and you're there, and you got to perform. But it ain't true of movies. It's just a take. That's all it is. They don't even have to print it. They don't have to show it in rushes. And you should think of it as, and it took, I mean, a long time to be comfortable. It's just this thing with a lens, and this man is walking back and forth on a track, and there's another camera, and we're just screwing around. That's all we're doing. Doesn't mean it ain't real, but we're still just screwing around. It's like in tennis, can you throw me a few lobs before it starts? And you're just practicing, boom. And then maybe when the take gets going, you just, there's full force. So Bob has got the cards, and he's going over them, and we do a take, and he answers, and he's sitting there, and he gives another answer, and fourth answer, fifth answer, it's all the same take. And I ask him a question, and he doesn't answer, and he says, and he's not acting. He's just talking. It's like he hasn't put anything into it. It's like a rehearsal to him. And I said, oh, there's a smart man. So a take is a rehearsal. I get it. It ain't the same as when the curtain opens. It's not a performance. It's all a rehearsal. And suddenly the sixth question, the same take, and he goes, I don't know the line. He says, camera's still rolling. He's not like most of us actors saying, line, please. What's the line? What's the panic about? He says, I don't know the line. And he looks at the card, reads it, puts it down, he says the line. And then we finally stop, we go back, we do 2-3 more takes, and each one has a teeny bit. And I realize what he's doing is, and I know directors that have worked with him, and they would say, this is what he does. And it gets going on its own. On its own. Third take, fourth take, it just happens. So he's not pushing it. It just starts to click in. Most of what you do doesn't work. And you go look at the takes, and you'll need one. But if you're fighting to make everyone perfect, many times you ain't gonna get that one. So allowing yourself to miss is another way of allowing yourself to be relaxed. Okay, maybe I ain't that good. Maybe this isn't gonna work. Maybe I shouldn't try to get that close to the edge of the board, because I can wind up cracking my head. So you play safe. And I think that's, one of the ways of not playing safe is, here it is. Here I am. Take it or leave it. I ain't good unless I get lucky.